You're on.
Well, I want you to ask me. Tell me about some of your.
Who are the most famous and influential people you met while you were working? And
Wow.
do you have any good stories?
That's a great question because it's all subjective. In other words, who's famous for you may
true.
not be famous for me.
I would say, because you mentioned Henry Kissinger, he is a world famous, mover and powerful person.
Yes.
And the things he did in his life changed the course of
history.
Yes.
I know. All right, well, I'm glad you asked me about Mr. Kissinger. Because you know what? You have preconceived ideas about people who come in. And when I'm getting Henry Kissinger for the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, this is Mr. Kissinger. But, geez, he dropped bombs in Cambodia. He was responsible for a lot of things that were not exactly heartwarming news. So that's when I just want to bring Alex von Bitter in here because he told us, doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, we still have to take care of these people as best we possibly can, doing the best we possibly can. And I'll just let that go because that's what we did in any case. But I got to like these people because I had him more than a few times. He would be there pretty much every week for lunch. Dr. Kissinger, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We got to know each other very well. He always asked me what he was going to have for lunch. And I think we were told by his secretary he was only allowed to have fish. So the fresh fish of the day was it. And I would tell him, of course. But he was very friendly to me. And what can I say? We were on a first-name basis, and we were always happy to see each other. An easy table to have. But the story I have about him is his lunch with Beverly Sills. Beverly Sills, of course, I'm going to imagine that you know who Beverly Sills is. You do not know? Okay, well.
For me and for the audience, who is Beverly Sills?
One of the timeless sopranos from the Metropolitan Opera.
Okay.
She was absolutely wonderful. Her nickname was Bubbles because she was so effervescent and fun to be with. And she shared a birthday with Dr. Kissinger.
Same day.
Same day. And they would always come to the Four Seasons for a birthday lunch for both of them. And it was always great because I took care of her too. I want to tell you about another story with her afterwards because she had her own ideas about what lunch was all about, the Four Seasons. So they would have lunch, and again, Kissinger would be in rare form. He was just so happy to have her sitting next to him. And by the way, the women loved him. It's a whole power thing. It's really unbelievable. He had a very good sense of humor. He was fun and funny, considering his past and whatever you want to call it. But I remember saying to him, "No, look at you, Miss Sills and Dr. Kissinger, in the corner, in the dark, in the back for lunch for their happy birthday lunch together." And he looked up at me and said, "John, call page 6. I want it in page 6 tomorrow." And of course, Beverly Sills thought that was absolutely spectacularly funny, and they had a great lunch. But I like that. Call page 6. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll name that chapter. But let's talk about Beverly for a second, though. Because when she came to lunch there, and she had a house account from the Opera House to have lunch with all these guys. And, we've talked about the guys who eat the power lunch. Whether it was Mort Zuckerman, the editor-in-chief of Daily News, any of the businessmen, Sandy Weil, Jamie Dimon. She would have lunch with these guys and hit them up for some pretty big bucks for the opera. Mm. And she was
fundraising.
Yes, fundraising, and she was very good at it. Of course, everyone loved her. I mean, big heart, big, lovely smile, bubbles. And I remember asking her pretty much every day, "Is this business or pleasure?" She goes, John, it's always business. I'm here to make money today. I want to order as soon as possible. And when they order, just bring the food. I have things to sell. I said, okay, whatever you want. So I would do it immediately. I'd ignore a couple of tables, make sure she got her order in first, and she would have her little lunch. And poor Mr. Mort Zuckerman, for let's say, these guys were going to be hosed down for a lot of money, and she would get $1 million from these guys. You know, they would get an agreement that they would donate $1 million or an amount to the Metropolitan Opera. And when she got up, you know, she picked up her purse and she had a great day. She just made another $500,000 for the opera. And she would say, bye, John, I will see you tomorrow.